a group called Partners. Partners is a fintech company motivated to help grow businesses and keep the American dream alive. The floor is yours.
What is one thing all people desire to have? It's freedom. The ability to choose when and where you work and what you're working for. The ability to be your own boss. Now, 52% of Americans are in the lower income brackets. And the social stigma is that these people have no opportunities to find capital to grow their businesses or to fund their businesses. But here at Partners, we believe in the American dream. And we believe that all people should have the opportunity to do what they want.
The problem we are trying to face here is that young entrepreneurs lack the platform and the funding to get to the investors. At Partners, we provide that easy connection, and we connect them to the investors, and we provide them with that platform.
Hello, I'm Owen Robertson. I'm the CEO.
I'm Rowan Briggs, I'm the COO.
I'm Andrew Ankeny, I'm the CFO.
What sets us apart is that we focus on small businesses and we connect them through social media. We also use blockchain technology to keep it safe and secure, and we use cryptocurrencies for funding.
What makes us unique is that we grow funds for small businesses, and we do this through social media connections.
Now, for Partners, we have two specific customer segments that we're looking for. We have our entrepreneurs, and then we have on the other side, the investors. Now, our entrepreneurs are going to be people who are younger, your 20 to 35-year-olds, predominantly male, in urban areas and with incomes below $150,000 a year. Now, our investors are going to be our older people, our 55 to 70-year-olds, and they're predominantly male in urban areas and with incomes above $150,000. However, we don't intend to strictly just go to these people. We intend to actually market to anyone creating a small business or anyone that needs capital for growth for their business. Now, in creating the market size and understanding how big our market is, I used the SEC Small Business Capital Formations document. And on this, they're obviously talking about bigger businesses that are SEC-regulated businesses. However, we can kind of narrow down how big our market is through these. So as you can see, they had 12,000 registered businesses in 2020 alone. Now, 37% of firms sought financing, which means that the 63 did not apply. Now, of those 37, 47% of their needs were met. However, that leaves 53% of businesses without the correct amount of funding. Now, with creating our market size, we can piece together about 100,000 registered businesses within the next year, which for us is a profit of potential revenue of 15 to 50 million. However, our total market size is in the trillions. Now, that was for our entrepreneurs, but for our investors, it's quite different. As we are going to be attempting to reach angel investors, we have this data here. With over 300,000 angel investors in 2020 alone, we can use that number to find a $45 to $75 million potential profit annually. Now, our financial models. So we have two financial models as we are targeting two specific sectors. We're targeting our entrepreneurs and our investors. Now, how we intend to charge our entrepreneurs is through a tier list program. As it is an app and we are looking for monthly subscriptions, this makes the most sense for what we're trying to accomplish. Now, if I'm an investor and I want to raise $25,000, I will be in the silver tier. So your tier list will be based off of how much funding you're needing to raise from these angel investors or the crowdfunding tools that we have. And these allow us to have other benefits as well as free ads and legal forms. And then for our investors, it's much of the same thing. However, we want more investors on there. So to be able to look at these deals, you'll have to pay more to look at higher priced deals. So everyone starts off in the free category as you are a start out investor. And then as you work your way up and you want to find bigger, more profitable deals, you will buy the various different programs.
So for year one, we expect to sell about 44,000 units. And by units, we're talking about the subscriptions that the entrepreneurs and investors pay for. And then each month, we expect about a 60% growth rate. And then for our financial models, we have one for the entrepreneurs, which we expect to sell about 28,000 with an operating profit of 5.6 million. And then for our investors, we're expecting to sell about 15,000 units with an operating profit of about 2.1 million.
Yes, so estimated financials for the very first year are potential revenue. We can see a potentially 44,000 units sold, and units sold are subscriptions per month. One month prescription is a unit sold. And our total revenue would be about $9.7 million, with our operating profit being about 7.7. And we anticipate a 60% growth within the second year, and then another 80% growth within year 3. So when asking our market, when we surveyed customers and people who would be on this app, we found 3 important things that they want to know, or things they want on this app. First is customization. People care about the color themes. They want to be able to customize the app to how they like it, how they preference it. But also they want to be able to build their profile and to build who they are as a person and who they want to be able to show to the world or investors. Now next is an easy to navigate app. This is more of a design that people like. It allows for flow in the app, and it allows for more people to look at more pitches often. An example would be like TikTok, how it is a very flowy app. It's all in one page and it moves very, very well. And the last is return on investment. People want to see that this will work. So we have to have articles and documents in place that show that businesses have grown and have profited from this app and from the services that we sell. Now, for market testing, we have sent out an email list to investors that, potential investors and the emails that we send out have three entrepreneurs plans on them. Now, this is just a way to establish profit in the early stages and to establish an emailing and marketing list as well as that. And for our marketing strategies, obviously we have the emailing list, but also one of our biggest things will be social media connections. We'll be making content and posting it out there, making information and products that people can look at and come to our website and sign up for our app. And another thing is influencer marketing. We want to use these influencers who are big in this financial field. For example, Jordan Belfort, not the best guy, but he has a big market of a bunch of young entrepreneurs that are eager, and that's the type of person that we want to push ours to. Because these people, these younger kids, do not have that access to these larger funds. So this is where we would use our influencer marketing. And obviously we would use seminar and conventions to do networking with bigger firms and other companies. And we would target hedge fund managers, accountants, financial managers, and we would do that to get their clients on board as well and to get them kind of into our system that we have.
So here's the chart for our startup funding. On the right, we have our cost of sales, which will be the huge chunk of our startup funding. And then on the left is the SG&A expenses. And then in total, we're anticipating about $2 million in startup funding expenses.
So what we would be seeking is we would be willing to give up 15% equity for the $2 million. Now, we obviously intend to go to other financial institutes and private equity groups to get this funding, but the total that we are willing to give away is 15% for that $2 million. Are there any questions?
Yeah. Hey guys, thanks. I didn't see it in the presentation. Maybe I'll give you an opportunity to explain from the perspective of the entrepreneur when you go to the app or site or whatever the platform is. What's the experience exactly for that person?
Okay, so you start out as just a regular silver basis as an entrepreneur, or as an investor, as I showed, and then you will create an account, and you can choose to post your own pitches, and these pitches will have all the information that you will need to put in. They will have spaces for you to put that in, and to fill out the pitch template, basically, which is what it is. So they will get on the app, and they will just post it like a social media, like a picture on Instagram or something like that.
Okay, and so if I have a marvelous idea, I can come to here, I can put my idea in there and see if there's any bites, right?
Right.
Now, how do I know that my idea is protected from anyone else? Because I presume that all I have to do is maybe get us an investor account that I can fish on what else is out there. How do I know that my great idea is not going to get stolen by someone else?
Right, so we intend to have a safety net in place actually for that. And if you intend to do a secured business that you can say, you can put all the data and all the numerical and the quantitative numbers out there without putting your actual idea. And if those people are interested, they can contact you and you can decide on that if you believe those investors are actually looking to invest in you.
Going back to the chart that showed that you were projecting to sell 43,600 units, correct? Can we go back to that real quick? What's the breakdown in that unit as far as silver, gold, platinum, etc.?
Okay, the breakdown.
What percentage
of this one right here?
Yeah, what percentage of prescriptions are you capturing there in that 43,000?
Okay, so on this slide here, it explains. So for the entrepreneurs, we intend to get 28,000 units. So those 28,000 will have an average cost basis of around $250, and then we will also have the 15,500 of the investors on the investor side, and we intend to have $175 cost basis on that. If that answers your question.
I think so, yeah.
So you mentioned holding revenue or your assets in crypto. Why are you choosing crypto with the volatility that's out there with crypto?
Right. So we intend to do money transfers through crypto. We do not intend to get payment through crypto. You can, but we do not intend to do that. But the reason why we want to use blockchain technologies, and not specifically just crypto, but blockchain technologies will allow for secure documents. So we want to secure information, secure documents through a blockchain technologies format. If that answers your question.
Yes, now I'm assuming on both sides of the fence, the investors and
Yes.
the entrepreneurs, you're going to have everybody sign NDAs, right?
Yes. They have. There's a bunch of legal stuff that will go into that. There will be background vetting on investors as well, or on entrepreneurs as well.
And how'd you guys come up with the 50% growth rate?
I'm sorry, with the 50%.
You guys mentioned there would be a 50% growth rate. How'd you come up with that assumption?
So we did have the annual growth rates are what we predict as we get more clients and as we grow. Do you mean the monthly growth rate?
Yes.
Okay. So we expect a 60% growth rate because, mind you, units sold carry on to the next month. So it's just one subscription for that month. So they could purchase a 3-month subscription and it will be for those 3 months. So these are just growing on top of each other. Each person is buying one subscription, they can have it for multiple months.
So what are the discounts to reward someone buying a 6-month, 3-month, or a year subscription?
So we haven't actually nailed that down exactly how we want to do that yet, but we will. We've discussed doing like a year program being a half-off thing, but really what we're trying to do, we don't want to put someone to a contract like that because we want their business to get their capital as fast as they can. We don't intend for them to be on there for multiple months. We want them to be on there and leave so that they can get their capital and start their business.
And have you guys compared yourselves to like the GoFundMe's out there?
Yes, we have. We have. And the GoFundMe's, they do a lot of crowdfunding, but what we intend for this is to do entrepreneurs and investors, and we want to connect them together so that they can create their own business entities together or partnerships together.
So do you guys intend to have any kind of counseling for those
Yes.
entrepreneurs? Because the GoFundMe is, you can state whatever equity you want to give up.
Yes.
But if you're gonna link an investor with an entrepreneur, you know, that's an open-ended conversation.
Right. Yes, so we have 24/7 advisor help. It will be a small fee if you use it, but if you have the platinum program, it's for free. But for the others, it's a small fee as well. And that gets into other financials and revenue streams that we talk about later.
Can you talk about the learning program and the legal forms and explain what exactly that means?
Yes, okay. So for the learning programs, we intend to have a series of learning programs that will help investors and entrepreneurs get to know business more. So we can have some videos, it's a series of videos that could be explaining legal document formation or tax formation or entity formation and et cetera, all the things you can learn about business. And then the legal forms is we will have mandatory cookie cutter legal forms to keep everything on point and to make sure everything is running smoothly.
You mentioned paying influencers. Have you guys come across those expectations? Some will probably want a good sum, and some probably not so much. But what are your expectations on those payouts to these influencers?
So we intend to obviously market towards smaller influencers at first, and then work our way up as our budget grows with the money that we've made towards those larger influencers, because they do cost, anywhere from 50 to 100,000 for a Jordan Belford to shout you out on his podcast. But we intend to go for smaller influencers at first, and we intend to grow our own basis with our own social medias.
Oh, and since your platform's built on blockchain technology, were you, or has it been approached yet for the metaverse?
I'm sorry?
Since you're on blockchain technology, have you thought about the application into the metaverse?
I have actually. I haven't thought much into it, but I have thought about the possible the possibilities of using business in the metaverse. Yes.
Do your financials take into account the advertisement revenue that you're anticipating, or how is that factored in?
Yes, those are. We put that under cost of sales. Yes, we put our advertisement revenue under the cost of sales.
And did you guys mention who are some of the competitors you're looking to go against in this space, right? In at least North Texas.
Yes, we showed them at the beginning, but we are completely different. Normally, when you do that, they're crowdfunding. Most of these are crowdfunding apps or websites. None of them are normally apps. So this would be the first app that's connecting them to be able to make actual entities in a business instead of putting your money into a crowdfunding business instead.
So at what stage will you accept an entrepreneur to come in and be part of your app? I mean, from idea, or do they have to be already established and have all the rights legally?
So I think the question you're asking is, we intend to get investors on there first. We want to get as many investors on there first, so that our entrepreneurs have something to look at, and they know there's investors to buy their pitches, instead of a bunch of entrepreneurs going on there and there being no investors to invest in them. So we intend to get investors first, to heavy push and market investors, and then we will open it up more towards the entrepreneurs, if that answers your question.
Sure, leads me to another one. So who's going to have the negotiations with those investors on their part?
Right. So those will actually be against them. That's why we have the learning programs as well. There will be a whole section over negotiation and deal structure, and that's the purpose of the learning programs, is to allow these individuals to learn for themselves and to build their businesses. But also, they do have the access to the 24/7 advisor help if they seek to pay for that.
But essentially, they're investing at their own risk, correct?
Yes. Essentially, you are investing at your own risk. We are just the middlemen connecting entrepreneurs and investors that don't have the access to be able to meet each other.
So if you're leading with the investors, do you realize that the investors are probably not going to be very interested in getting into a bidding war with each other?
Yes, we do understand that, which is why we allow access for multiple people to be in one deal, so they can discuss amongst themselves, and that's kind of past us. We just want to connect them, and if two investors want to do a deal with one entrepreneur, or how many investors, that would be at their own choice, if that answers your question.
Oh, and you've allotted for about 200,000 for front-end marketing. So that represents about 10% of your front-load capital. You think that's enough? As going into a really highly competitive market with a new set?
I do not believe that is, I wouldn't believe that is enough. But we do intend to do a lot of our own personal social media stuff. So that will be a lot of pushing towards influencers and others like that. But yes, that could be something that could be increased as well. Are there any other questions?
I might have missed it. How are you marketing towards the entrepreneurs? How are you going to gather them once you finally get the investment?
So the entrepreneurs, let me go to this slide. So how we're marketing towards entrepreneurs will be through social media and influencer marketing, but also we will be promoting through seminars and conventions as well. So, but major is influencer marketing and social media content. Trying to push our idea to the younger youth who are trying to build their businesses, or the college students who are trying to get their ideas working.
Have you thought about working with banks
Yes.
and their business lending departments? Have you talked about maybe working with the SBDC?
I have not thought about working with banks financing. I have just thought about investor to entrepreneur financing. Yes.
Now, are you familiar with the SBDCs here in Texas?
I'm not, no.
That's the Small Business Development Centers. This could be another great source for entrepreneurs to connect with your app. So it'd be probably a good option,
Right,
because they're dot connectors as well.
right, yes. And then that could be a partnership that we could do with them to establish funding for other people as well. And we do also intend to have our own fund that we keep to invest our own money into these business deals that we see as profitable as well. Are there any other questions?
Good job.
All right, thank you.
How's everybody feeling? Woo! All right. Last but certainly not least, we have our last pitch of the night. Food waste? This organization has the solution. Please give a warm welcome to Green Earth Composting Company, whose goal is to prevent food waste in order to keep our planet habitable.
Hi, we're Green Earth Composting, and we are seeking $100,000 for 18% stake.
I'm Alexandra Gilmore, the CEO. And I'm Morgan Foster, the COO.
I'm Ampajal, the CTO and CMO.
Did you know, according to Recycle Track Systems, the United States discards more food than any other country in the world? Nearly 40 million tons, 80 billion pounds every year. As a company, some problems that we have noticed are the increased causes of climate change, the lack of education about composting, and then unnecessary food waste going into landfills. By this, we want to minimize the greenhouse gas emissions, and with this, when you compost, you're initially making new soil by adding the raw ingredients, and when you take the new soil and add it into your flower beds, it releases good carbon dioxide for you to breathe. And we also want to educate the uneducated about composting and discard the right foods into their proper places.
Our SAM, the sizable addressable market, is 6,768,000. That comes from the Denton households, which is 47,000, each household buying our package 12 times a year, and each package costing $12. Our total addressable market is around 25 million. That comes from a third of the DFW households, 174,000, each household buying the package 4 times, and each one costing $12.
As a revenue stream for our company, we hope to either partner up with big corporations as of Whole Foods and REI, whether that would be either selling our packages there or they would be just helping us market our company.
Our SG&A is $20,000 per month, and this comes from inventory, the truck that actually transports the composting consultants, advertising, utilities, and equipment. Our cost of goods services is $5, and this is mainly used for the packaging and the cost to make the actual packages.
So this is a chart of our competitors. As you can see, there's one in New York, Washington, D.C., and Charlotte. Our main competitor is Cowboy Compost in Fort Worth, Texas. We're the only composting service in Denton, Texas, and our service is the fast and efficient way to start your family's journey towards an eco-friendly future. So this is a graph of our net profits per year. From year 1 to year 2, we are calculating a 50% growth. From year 2 to year 3, a 60% growth. To obtain these numbers, we are going to sell a monthly composting package that our customers can buy. Our customers can also buy different bins and pay separately. And we'll have add-ons to our website such as soil, bags, shovels, gloves, and merchandise.
So this is our composting package. It's $12 per month, and this includes the kit, the shovel and the gloves, which is one time, and then the soil pH test, which tests the growth of the different soils to see which is the best soil to plant with, and then our check-in emails, which is ongoing support, seasonal information, and tips about composting, and then the composting consultants, which is our service about one-on-one consultation with our customers to provide tips about composting and coming out and doing the soil pH test. And then our customer gets the choice between one add-on a month, which could be the soil, bag, kid shovel, or gloves. And this is our MVP and market testing. For MVP, we decided to do a website because we want to see the different demographics of people who click on the actual packages we provide. And then our market testing, we found out that a lot of people didn't know about the composting process, but knew about how composting benefits the earth. This is our BMC. As you can see, it has a lot of changes on it and a lot of different colors. I think it really shows our hard work in building this company to where it's at now.
So what's in your bin? Do you have any questions for us at the moment?
Who is your ideal subscriber or client?
So our ideal subscribers are going to be family oriented. Are there family oriented people who like the outdoors or people who do not know about composting or don't know where to start?
So on the composting side, you want the subscriber to do the composting at their place. You're not
Yes.
picking up their refuse.
Yes, so with that, when we included that they could choose their type of bin, they're going to be doing it, typically people do it in their backyard, and so they will be doing it themselves.
On your competitors that are local, they're privately owned, correct?
Yes, sir.
Were you able to gather any kind of data what they do as
So
far as the number of
for
households?
For the Fort Worth location, the Cowboy Compost, all they do is mainly just sell soil. They don't sell a service or additional add-ons.
Now, did you say you will sell compost as well? Or just promoting composting on your own at your home?
Can you say that one more time, sorry?
Are you promoting like you're gonna sell compost to everybody
so-
else, or just promoting each household kind of do your own compost?
Basically, they're gonna do their own composting, and then with that, they'll get the educational purpose on how it benefits them and the earth.
Hi, y'all. Good work. I was a little unclear on the packaging costs. You have $12, and then you have a bin of 100 to 150. Can you elaborate on that just a little bit?
So the package is what the customers will pay per month, and they will buy our composting bins separate, and they can choose between metal, wood, and plastic depending on their budget.
So, and what exactly is the customer receiving for that monthly subscription?
It's receiving the kit, which comes with the soil pH test, and then it also comes with the composting consultant service, and then you get the choice between an add-on as well, and also the check-in emails, which provide education about composting and ongoing support and seasonal information you have to do with your composting process.
And are you assuming that your consultant services related costs are just coming out of revenue starting month one? Because I noticed you're asking for only $100,000 to cover truck, office space, and inventory.
So for the beginning, we're obviously not gonna have hands-on right away. So it's gonna be creators who are gonna be helping, and then hopefully by like month 6 or towards the end of our first year, we will have consultants who will help us.
Well, you've got a great market to do it, that's for sure. Denton will be receptive to this for sure. Have you looked at using, as far as staffing, interns from the colleges and such as that? For the consulting?
Not yet, but that is a great idea.
And the truck is just going to be used to deliver the bins, correct?
Yes.
And the shovels and the
Yeah.
So sort of a futuristic goal or a question, what's your goal for the company?
For our goal for our company is we want, hopefully want to grow as into bigger corporations and spreading our business and not just partnering up with like maybe like 1 or 2, but like more environmental companies, and as well as getting a warehouse to also hold our products, or maybe even having like a mini store just as in person.
Do you perceive holding that corporately or developing franchise?
So that one more time, sorry.
Do you see that expanding corporately just with the organization, or do you see that expansion coming through franchises?
Corporations.
Can you discuss the expansion of the units sold and how you come up with those specific new rates and how you're expected to drive the subscriptions?
Can you repeat that question?
Can you discuss how the rate of growth has been determined and how you're expected to drive the subscriptions, the monthly subscriptions?
Like marketing and advertising?
Mhm.
Okay. Basically more towards social media aspects like Instagram, to drive our marketing, and then also just door-to-door sales.
And we'll let's sell our packages to Whole Foods and REI to get our name out there, and if they want to give their gift packages to their employees, so the marketing and the name for our product increases.
Yeah, I got another question. Your month 12 is hitting 18,000 customers on your estimate. That's a pretty big number from my perspective. I mean, curious how you assumed that you were going to hit that number that fast, and whether you see it plateauing at some level at all.
So with the units sold, during the colder times, we're going to see a decrease, but during the spring and summer, we will see an increase in that number.
Seasonality.
Yeah, season.
Okay, then I would expect the numbers to probably have the seasonality.
Yes, sir.
There's some mention in here about direct sales, going to PTA meetings, or can you discuss what that's about?
Say that one more time, sorry.
So there's discussion in the investor packet about attending PTA meetings and handing out flyers. Can you discuss what specifically you were trying to address there?
Yeah, so with that, that's one of our market strategies is not more towards the beginning, getting our name out there, going door to door, handing out flyers, telling people what we do as a company and hope to do in the future. And we would also think about going to like organizations like that specialize in like helping the earth and just like going to them and passing out flyers in that way.
The other thing that was noted was that your cost of goods sold was $5. Can we back up to that slide? So is this, your SG&A is listed at $20,000 a month, is the cost of goods sold is at $5 per unit?
Yes, per unit.
And what is, outside of the packaging, like what about the cost of the actual like bin? What is that cost?
The customers will pay for the bin separately, so that will be the cost of goods sold will be separate for the bin.
So you're not gonna make money on selling the bin, it's just dollar for dollar? There's no-
It just, the bin would just be one-time purchase, not per month.
Okay.
All right, any more questions for you guys?
Good job.
Our next group is our actual final group. Our final team tonight is BuzzBot, in which two entrepreneurs believe is a solution to a growing problem around the world. Give them a big hand as they shake the hand.
I was expecting some Shark Tank music, to be honest. Alright, this is our business, BugBot. We've talked with leading industry experts to create a revolutionary product that may solve yours and many others' bug problems in and around the home. So let's talk about it. I'm Les Bowen.
I'm Adam Shinawi.
84% of homeowners experience bug problems in and around the house in a 2018 study. And when they try to solve these problems, they use maybe ugly bug traps, pest control, and this causes unsightly messes and problems around the home. They try to solve these methods by getting pest control, which can cost upwards of $300 and may leave you out of your house for several hours.
From 2016 to 2021, the pest control industry has gone up over 6.4%.
We are seeking a $100,000 investment for 10% stake in our company. This will go to inventory, getting the inventory for the first year's run, advertising, and patents, and other things of that sort. Candy, candy, candy. So what does this have to do with our product? It's actually the origin story. So one Halloween, my brother dressed up as a dog and went around with his pillowcase to try to get candy from all these big houses. So when he came back, you know, gotta get that big brother tax and steal some of that candy. But when I tried to go up into his room and find it, or in the pantry, it wasn't there. So kind of gave up on that day. The next day, I came in to look for it and I saw wrappers all over the ground. So I was like, man, I gotta clean this up, you know? So I started picking up the wrappers, and when I started picking them up, I noticed there's an ant trail. I was like, oh man, how could I get rid of these ants? So went to the store, bought a little ant pad thing, you know, sticky ant pads. I put one next to his bed. They caught some of the ants, but when he came back, you know, he didn't like the sight of ugly bugs, dead bugs next to his nightstand. So I was thinking, oh, how could I solve this problem? So I noticed my mom likes to decorate the house with a lot of vases. As you can see, there's actually 2 decorations here. So I was thinking maybe there's a 2-in-1 to get rid of this ugly, unsightly mess while killing the bugs and looking good in the house at the same time.
So our product consists of 3 actual components. We have the pot itself, the whole pot with the plant that provides the like the fashion part of it. Then you have the tray that slides out. We actually have built multiple prototypes, as you can see here, and try to develop ways to combat bugs through the tray.
So our MVP presents a buyer with a simple way to get rid of bugs inside the home while being decorative. Most buyers don't really like the pest control sprays because they leave toxic chemicals, and like I said before, you'll be out of maybe your room, your home for several hours after these toxic sprays. So our solution is the bug tray in the bottom. So here, those are our designs of our very first one. And the bug solution will be in the middle with holes that you can't really tell that are there, so it can be used as a decorative item. And while costing 47 cents to produce the solution unit, consists of a boric solution, sugar, essential oils, and DE. The essential oils act as a good smelling part of the product to help keep it, not smelling bad. And the sugar helps attract the ants. DE helps kill the ants, and the boric acid helps contain them. So endorsement. I've talked with many leading industry experts, like I said in the first slide. Ryan Salone is a manufacturer in Oregon. We hopped on a Zoom call, had a brief conversation, and came to a deal with him, producing our product out of a thick plastic material for $1.62 price per unit. Also, I've met with Plant & Planner's company owner, Jerry Duncan, to talk about shelf space. We also had a brief conversation. I pitched my idea to him, and he said he would let us sell his product, or sell our product at his store for 7.5% sale to him. So examples of use, these are just some of the many pictures I've taken around in my friends' homes, stuff like that. And as you can see, 2 pots on the kitchen table. So these are used decorative items, like I said, but sometimes you spill food on the table, ants, flies, stuff like that, get to these foods, and how do you get rid of them? That's what we're here to solve. Also, in his office area, 2 plants right there. This is just in a small part of the home, not including bathrooms, living rooms, outside patios, things like that. More examples, just pictures around different homes, using a lot of different vases to help combat, or to help look good in the home, and we help combat the bugs. So market size. Homeowners have spent $6.5 billion annually in the pest control industry. 33.1 million people participated in indoor houseplant gardening, decorations, things like that. And in this graph here, you can see people use sprays, coils, kind of like bug zappers, creams, oils, vaporizers, and others. And it keeps growing as the years go on. And we got it from the census.gov library website. So our competition is a company called Catchy. They offer a kind of good looking bug trap. I don't really like it personally. Look at the price point, $41.79. It is pretty hefty, and they also use batteries. For our product, we don't use any batteries, and we also sell it for $19.95. Enturo is also a big ant repellent, ant killer company, but I like to think of them as more as a potential buyer or mass producer of our product.
We've interviewed 25 people about our idea, and 20 people have responded in a way that we really developed our product. And the questions were: how many pots were in your household? Do you have any issues with bugs around your house? Have any of your at-home remedies work to control your bug problems? What are your thoughts on pots that capture bugs? And if you were to purchase our product, how many would you purchase to use around the house? Out of 25 people, 20 of them said that they would have pots in their household. Many of their at-home remedies have worked, but their solution isn't very clean to the eye. The DIY methods never seem to really work around the house, so we've developed this product to help to solve your problems.
And this is our solution in use. We conducted a test, and we put different ants, different little bugs we could pick up outside, and mostly caught flies because it was kind of elevated. With our base, it is not elevated, it's on the floor. But we did this, and it captured them in a 10-foot radius. Doesn't want to work. There we go.
Okay, so the very first bug pot tray we developed, it was through computer software called SketchUp, and as you can see, like, it's hollow. It doesn't really look good. It didn't really meet our standards. So we developed the second tray, And the second tray actually brought us many ideas to mind, including the essential oil area where you would, you know what I'm saying, like have the good smelling part of it, and then we would have the solution here to get rid of the bugs and solve your problems.
So our financial model, with the investment we asked at the beginning, we'd use it for advertising, many things like that, inventory run, like I stated, and sources of money would be from investors, customers, businesses we've talked to, and many other local people. And the average cost, I was talking about, one unit is $1.62, which is just the pot, not including the solution in the bottom. We saw that separately, and that was quoted by Ryan Salone. The projected revenue in the first year is $311,000. So our growth potential, from year 1 to year 2, we expected to grow 58% in sales, and we also plan to contact more businesses to help this growth. So how do we market? There's a lot of local business events that have different niches, and one would be indoor house planting and indoor decoration. So we'd go there, set up our table, pitch our idea to locals and help gain interest there. And also through social media, we have an Instagram account called Shop Bug Pots. It has 772 followers, and it'll only grow with the money we use from the investment. So what makes us different? We offer a pet-friendly and kid-friendly device, as the solution is in the bottom of the tray, like we were talking about in the beginning of the presentation. When you kill bugs, it often leaves a mess, like I said. Leaving that ant tray by my brother's bed was just not good. There's often toxic chemicals when pest control people spray your house and you can't go in there for a little bit. So we use none. So thank you.
I hate to quote McDonald's, but I'm loving it. Let me see that thing. Bring it over here. All three? Yeah, come on.
We 3D printed it at the school library.
Nice.
But obviously, when we mass produce, it will not be 3D printed.
There's no trade right now. Oh, 3D. So on the solution that you use in there, what's the cost to the consumer to replace the solution? And how often will they have to replace it?
So we've actually considered having like a subscription method where we either deliver different solutions for the tray, or actually like we'd sell like more solution boxes inside the package, or it would be at the store where you would find the product at retail.
Yeah, we would sell it for $2.99. As I said, we would produce it for 47 cents. The solution would go in the bottom of the pot.
So when Ryan Sloan was looking to endorse you guys and potentially sell the product, was that involving the solution as well, or just the all-in-one package?
No, just the one vase, because he doesn't really dabble in the solution industry. He's mainly a manufacturer with the plastic products, stuff like that.
How'd you guys come up with a solution?
Through a lot of testing, to be honest. I did a lot of research and also talked to Jerry Duncan, because he's done a lot. What he does is put bottle caps around his house, little bottle caps with the Borg solution in there and sugar, and that's how he attracts bugs. But I don't want to see a bunch of bottle caps laying around my house, so that's also how I thought of this.
So have you guys moved along in the process of patenting your idea and product?
Yeah, as I stated, that $100,000 investment would help with the patents. Patents are very expensive, so I have not raised the money to get a patent.
Have you registered the product already?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Your competition, can you go back to that slide? They're not using the solution.
Yeah, they're not. This is kind of like the coil method I was talking about. It's kind of like a bug zapper. That's why it uses batteries. And then for the Taro, I honestly cannot tell you what's inside of those little things, but
And have you tested it on other bugs besides the ants?
yeah. So like I said, we did cockroaches. Flies were mainly caught in there, but like I said, it was an elevated surface, so ants can't really climb up into it. But we did do a test in a 10-foot radius. We did cockroaches, flies, and things like that.
Any plans on the size of your product and scaling?
Yeah, as we develop, because many people like different size pot, because that's not the size of our vase, but as we mass produce, we'll be able to get different colors, different sizes, things like that.
So I imagine on the spiders that crawl on the walls, you know, like that plant you see behind you would be a great example. Scaling to a different size.
Yeah, the spiders in the corners, it's kind of meant for the corner of your house, because a lot of bugs like to reside there. So.
Can you speak to the startup funds? In your finance page, you indicated that you needed capital of $47,000 to start the company. Can you speak to specifically how those funds are going to be utilized?
So our first inventory run in the financial sheet shows a large sum of money to produce those products at the beginning to be able to keep up with the demand we project in the first year. And also with advertising, patents builds on that, which we equal to about $100,000.
So, you're having your own warehouse as part of this plan?
Yeah, that's also in our cost. We were thinking about a 1,000 square foot warehouse to house our products, also starting garages to keep that cost lower.
1,000 foot? 1,000?
1,000 square feet.
1,000 square.
It's like a bedroom store.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, pretty
just,
small.
just to occupy shelf space.
As it gets bigger, obviously the rent gets more, things like that.
I think we might be missing a finance page because all we have is just an outline. We don't have all the details. What type of expenses are you anticipating? When are you going to have employees? Can you speak to some of that? And sales, how are you going to drive sales? Do you have salespeople, commissions?
Door-to-door selling, online marketing, maybe hire employees once we get farther into our growth to have be able to pay them. And I haven't really worked out a commission with it. We kind of pay them either hourly or annually to help promote our product.
Did you find your product worked on mosquitoes?
Through our test, it's kind of hard to capture mosquitoes, so we couldn't really see too many mosquitoes trapped in our pot.
Recently, we incorporated the essential oils part of the solution, so hopefully in the future we'll be able to capture mosquitoes that way.
Yeah, the reason I ask is just for the third world countries and emerging markets where you have malaria and things like that that are.
Yeah, this also helps with those illnesses from spiders, mosquitoes. Once we able to test a little bit more and see how we can solve that health problem.
On the manufacturing, who would be manufacturing the units and where?
Ryan Salone in Oregon. So I get to it. Yeah, he's based out of Oregon, producing overseas. I haven't really been able to speak to any people overseas, and he's kind of the head of manufacturing over there.
So far, he's the one that will be doing the manufacturing right now.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we could buy 500 in bulk for $1.62 price per unit, based on our other slides we were talking about, our financial slides.
What's your wholesale cost to Jerry at Plant and Planters? You said he's taking a 7.5%. Is that shelf space cut?
Yeah, he's taking that out of our sales. So if we sell our product for $19.95, he'll take 7.5% out of that in pocket.
That's a pretty great deal.
Yeah, as we grow, it'll go down, but to start up.
You're not assuming that it's the same rate across all future retailers, are you?
No, sir. Yeah, it obviously changes when you get bigger, things like that. Work out different deals. Work out with people's problems and.
What do you think is a more appropriate rate for someone just out in a town you've never visited that has a shop that might sell this?
obviously depends on the size of the town, because more people means more sales. But relatively, I was thinking probably around 3%, work it down to there. But as we are a startup, he's probably assuming that we won't sell 1 billion of them, so he wants to take a larger cut.
Yeah, retailers are gonna mark your product up. It's gonna be more than 3%.
How much of an ownership stake are you offering?
10%.
10%.
One more question from me. I'm reading through the marketing plan, and buried in there is a employee cost for 4 employees per year of 2,000 to 8,000. That entire line doesn't really make a lot of sense. I'll give you an opportunity to clarify that.
So we originally had 4 people, but our team is in such high demand, they had other complications tonight. But we would pay ourselves, obviously, but as a startup, not a lot of money is made, and just work really hard to reinvest the money. So that was just kind of a rough estimate, year 2, to pay ourselves.
You're saying you would pay yourself $2,000 for the year?
I mean, yeah, as a high school, college student, it will obviously grow, but not expecting too hefty of a salary.
It was a typo.
It's a good lesson in business to own up to the mistake.
All right, is that all our questions for tonight? So now we've heard all the pitches, and now the judges will deliberate on who the winner is. While they're deliberating, we want to recognize individuals that are important to Incubator EDU. Will all the 2021 to 2022 Incubator students stand up and be recognized? All these students have worked very hard this year and preserved, and we hope that your experience is positive and you will continue to use some of what you learned in your future endeavors. As your name is called, please come to the front and be recognized. I apologize if I say any of these names wrong. Akintola Akini, Morgan Allen, Andrew Akini, Daniel